She smiled across the restaurant table, expecting nothing more than an awkward dinner. But then the little girl peeked out from behind the man, walked up to her slowly, and said in a whisper, "You're my real mom." The CEO froze. Clara Jennings wasn't just a powerful woman, she was the woman. CEO of one of the biggest fashion tech brands in the country, voted most influential under 40, headlines every month. But no one knew her secret. Not even her closest staff. A secret buried so deep she thought she'd taken it to the grave. Until now. It started with a dare. Clara's assistant, desperate to see her smile, signed her up for a dating app. "You're always working, Clara. Just try one blind date. What's the worst that could happen?" Clara finally gave in. Just one dinner. 1 hour. The man she was supposed to meet was named Ryan. Widower. Single dad. His profile said he loved photography and worked in local community services. Not her type, but it was just dinner. She walked into the restaurant, all heels and confidence, prepared to be underwhelmed. But Ryan wasn't what she expected. He was grounded, warm, eyes full of something she hadn't seen in years, real kindness. The kind that couldn't be faked. He stood up to greet her, nervous but respectful. Then came the twist. As she sat down, a little girl peeked around his legs. Big brown eyes. Curly hair. About 7 years old. Her presence wasn't mentioned in the app profile. Ryan quickly apologized. "I'm so sorry. Babysitter canceled last minute. I didn't want to bail on the dinner." He looked genuinely embarrassed. Clara, caught off guard, smiled politely. "It's all right." She tried not to stare at the child, but something about her felt familiar. Then the girl slowly walked over, staring at Clara like she was seeing a ghost. She touched Clara's hand gently and said, "You're my real mom." Time stopped. The restaurant disappeared. All the noise faded. Because 7 years ago, Clara Jennings had given up a child for adoption. She couldn't move. Couldn't speak. Just stared at the child. Her mind spun in every direction. She tried to smile, to play it cool. "What did you say, sweetie?" The girl repeated it. "You're my real mom." Calm. Certain. Ryan laughed nervously. "Kids say the wildest things, huh? Sorry about that." But Clara wasn't laughing. Because this girl wasn't wrong. Back when Clara was 23, still in grad school, she had made the hardest decision of her life. She got pregnant after a brief relationship that ended badly. She was broke. Ashamed. And terrified. She gave the baby up through a private closed adoption, never knowing where the child went. She never saw the baby's face. It haunted her. But now that face was sitting across from her. Same deep eyes. Same mole on the left cheek. She swallowed hard. "What's her name?" Ryan looked confused. "Emma." "Why?" Clara felt her heart clench. That was the name she had whispered to the baby before letting go. Emma. The name no one else was supposed to know. This wasn't coincidence. This was fate, slamming back into her life. The rest of the dinner was a blur. Clara asked questions gently. Where they lived, how long ago his wife passed, what Emma liked to do. Ryan answered casually, never sensing the storm inside her. Emma kept staring at Clara like she was waiting for something. When the night ended, Ryan thanked her for being understanding. "I wasn't sure this would go well. But I'm glad I came." Clara nodded silently. She couldn't even remember what dessert they ordered. Her mind was stuck on one thing. Could it really be her daughter? Back in her apartment that night, Clara cried for the first time in years. The kind of cry that breaks your body open. The next morning, Clara sat in her office staring at nothing. Her assistant asked if she wanted her usual coffee. She didn't answer. She was lost in thought. Her board meeting was in 15 minutes, and she hadn't reviewed a single number. Her mind kept going back to that little girl. Emma. That name. The face. The feeling. It wasn't just a resemblance. It was a connection. After the meeting, she shut her office door, pulled out her laptop, and typed faster than she ever had. She searched old emails, adoption agency records, anything that could help her trace the child she had given away 7 years ago. Most of it was sealed. No names. No locations. But one piece of information stuck out. Emma had been adopted by a couple in the very city she now lived in. The records said the couple had no other children, and the wife had passed away 3 years ago. Clara's breath caught. That lined up with what Ryan said. His wife passed away. He raised Emma alone. She needed to know more. That evening, she did something she'd never done before. She called Ryan. She didn't even remember saving his number, but there it was. Her voice trembled. "Hey, I just wanted to thank you again for dinner. Would you and Emma want to join me at the aquarium this weekend? I thought she might like it." There was a pause. Then Ryan said, Yeah, I think she'd love that." Saturday morning, Clara arrived early. She wore jeans and sneakers for the first time in a year. No makeup. Just nerves. She waited near the penguin section. When Emma saw her, she ran up and hugged her like they'd known each other forever. Ryan chuckled. "She's never like this with strangers." Clara looked at him and smiled. "Maybe I'm not a stranger." But deep inside, she felt guilt building. Was she doing the right thing? She wasn't sure if Ryan knew. And if he didn't, how could she ever tell him? The aquarium visit changed everything. Emma never left Clara's side. She held her hand the whole time, asked her questions, told her stories about her school, her dog, her favorite cartoons. Every moment felt like a stolen dream. Clara soaked it all in. Ryan watched from a few steps behind, smiling. "She really likes you," he said quietly. Clara looked at him. "I like her too. She's special." He nodded. "She saved me, you know. After my wife passed. I didn't know how to breathe. Emma kept me grounded." That night, Clara couldn't sleep. She kept replaying the conversation in her head. Ryan loved that little girl. With every part of him. He wasn't just a single dad. He was her real dad, in every way that mattered. But Clara was her biological mother. And she didn't know where that placed her in Emma's life. Was she allowed to call herself anything at all? The next few weeks, they met again. Once for ice cream. Another time at the park. Then a museum. Each time, Emma grew more attached. She'd hold Clara's hand, call her Miss Clara, and beam with joy whenever she arrived. Clara started to laugh again. Started to breathe. But with every smile, her guilt grew. One night, Clara sat alone in her penthouse, staring at a picture of her and Emma from the museum trip. She finally made a decision. She had to tell Ryan the truth. Invited Ryan for coffee. Just the two of them. They met at a quiet rooftop cafe, away from the city noise. He looked relaxed. She looked like she hadn't slept. "I need to tell you something," she said. He tilted his head. "Is everything okay?" She breathed in. "Emma. I think she might be my biological daughter." Silence. He stared at her, confused. "What?" Clara's eyes filled. 7 years ago, I gave up a baby through a closed adoption. I was scared. Alone. I never knew where she went. But the way Emma looked at me, the name, the records. Ryan, I know it sounds insane, but I'm sure. She's mine." He blinked slowly, stunned. Then whispered, "Emma was adopted. My wife, she couldn't have children. We adopted Emma privately. The pieces fit. I never told Emma," he added. "She doesn't know. She thinks my wife was her mom." Clara covered her mouth. "I didn't mean to destroy anything. I swear. I just couldn't stay away." Ryan stood up, walked away, then came back. "Why are you telling me now?" "Because I want to do it right. I don't want to hide. But I'll follow your lead. I won't do anything without your blessing." He didn't answer right away. He just sat there, eyes full of questions, pain, confusion. And maybe, hope. Ryan didn't speak to her for 3 days. No texts. No calls. No Emma. Clara felt like she had broken something that could never be fixed. Every night she stared at her phone, wondering if she had gone too far. She didn't eat. She couldn't focus at work. The woman who ran boardrooms now felt powerless. On the fourth day, her phone finally buzzed. One message. Let's talk. Come by the house. Emma's at a sleepover. Clara drove through the rain, heart pounding. She stood on his porch, soaked, scared, and completely vulnerable. Ryan opened the door. He looked like he hadn't slept either. They sat in his living room. No lights. Just the soft glow of a floor lamp. I didn't know what to say. He started. I was angry. Not at you. At the world. At myself. Because a part of me always wondered about Emma's real mom. Who she was. Why she gave her up. If she ever thought about her. Clara whispered. I thought about her every day. I believe you, he said softly. Then he added something that changed everything. She needs to know one day. Not now. But eventually. And when that day comes, I want you to be part of it. Tears rolled down Clara's cheeks. I don't know how to be a mom, she said. You already are, he replied. That night, they talked for hours. About Emma. About the past. About the future. And somewhere between the silences, something shifted. Not just forgiveness, but connection. Things changed after that night. Clara started spending more time with Emma, officially. They'd paint together. Bake cookies. Build pillow forts. Ryan watched quietly as his daughter opened her heart even more. But it wasn't perfect. Emma was a curious child. Why do you come over so much? She asked once. Are you gonna marry Daddy? Clara laughed nervously. No, sweetheart. I just really like being around you both. Emma smiled. I like you too. You feel like home. Those words stayed with Clara. Like home. She started joining them for school events, birthdays, even movie nights. Slowly, without pushing, she became part of their life. People at work noticed too. You look different, her assistant said one morning. Like you're actually happy. For the first time in years, Clara allowed herself to dream. But she still hadn't told Emma the truth. Ryan was firm. Not yet. She's not ready, he said. Let her enjoy being a kid. Clara agreed, but it hurt. Every time Emma hugged her, it burned. Because she couldn't say, I'm your mom. And she wanted to. Desperately. One afternoon, Emma fell sick. High fever. Shivering. Ryan called Clara in a panic. She's asking for you. Clara rushed to the house. When she got there, Emma was curled up on the couch, pale and weak. She opened her eyes and whispered, Don't go. Clara sat beside her, holding her hand through the night. At one point, Emma looked up, her voice barely audible. Miss Clara, were you ever a mommy? Clara froze. She brushed Emma's hair gently. Yes, sweetie. I was. Emma blinked slowly. Did your baby go away? Clara's throat tightened. Yes. But I think, maybe she came back. Emma closed her eyes. I think you're my mom. Ryan stood in the doorway, silent. The room was quiet except for the sound of the rain tapping the windows. Clara didn't answer. She just kissed Emma's forehead and whispered, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. That night, Ryan came to her. She already knows, he said. Clara nodded. Kids always know. They didn't need a DNA test. They didn't need documents. Emma had spoken the truth her heart had known all along. Weeks passed. Clara, Ryan, and Emma started building a life together. They didn't rush anything. No big changes. Just small moments, breakfast together, park walks, bedtime stories. They made a choice. Emma would learn the full truth when she was older. But for now, she knew enough. She knew she was loved. One evening, Ryan invited Clara to a rooftop dinner. Same place they had their first date. The table was set beautifully. Soft music played. Emma was with a babysitter. Clara looked at Ryan, eyes questioning. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small box. I know this started with a blind date. And a truth we never saw coming. But I also know I don't want a future without you. Inside the box was a simple ring. Clara stared at it, heart pounding. I'm not asking you to be Emma's mom. You already are. I'm asking if you'll be mine. Tears fell freely. Yes, she whispered. A year later, Emma stood between them at a beachside ceremony. Clara wore a simple white dress. Ryan in a light blue shirt. Emma in a floral dress, barefoot in the sand. They exchanged vows, not just to each other, but to Emma too. You were never a mistake, Clara said in her speech, eyes locked on Emma. You were my beginning. Emma ran into her arms. Mommy! It was the first time she said it aloud. The guests wept. Ryan joined them, arms around both. They weren't a traditional family. But they were real. A CEO. A single dad. A little girl who remembered a phase from a past life. Together, they proved love always finds its way home. And sometimes, it shows up on a blind date.